I felt like my stomach did a couple of cartwheels. I was so nervous. It was a very important day, and I was worried that someone or something might ruin it. The smartest kids were about to have a battle of the geniuses in an hour, and the winner would represent our school at the nationals. Relax, Tony. I'm sure that you're gonna ace it. My best friend Emily held my hand as we walked through the hallway towards our lockers. You do? I scratched the back of my head with a shy smile. I really wanted to win this. Of course, I always believe in you, she reassured me, and I felt like my heart jumped with joy as she threw me that big, beautiful smile of hers. It got me so happy and inspired until the moment I opened my locker. A splash of red paint from a container attached to the top of my locker door fell on my hair and face. I gasped with disgust as the red sticky fluid painted my whole face and shirt red. Blaze, the famous jock at school who bullies those shy and helpless nerds. Of course he did this. My hands turned into fists as I heard him and his friends laughing behind us. I was about to turn around to face him, but Blaze suddenly grabbed the back of my head and shoved me, causing my face to hit the locker. I acted like I just had anesthesia and didn't feel the pain, but deep inside, it really hurts. But I had to act like I'm not afraid of him. Say goodbye to your second set of eyes, loser, the bully exclaimed right into my ear, which made me so mad. I turned to him and looked at him through my cracked glasses. What are you gonna do, fight me? Come on, loser, let's see what you've got. Blaze challenged me while shifting into his fighting stance. Leave him alone, you jerk, Emily snapped at them, but he only gave her a cocky smile. You leave him alone and come with me, pretty head. You deserve bigger and taller guys like me, he said while flexing his muscles. Blaze is a tall, attractive senior student. Aside from the ultimate bully, he also gets the girls. Their attention, at least. I used to believe that all girls were like that when I was younger until I met Emily in grade school. She was also my classmate back then, and I always thought that she was cute. Every boy in our school wanted to play with her, so my competitive side plotted some ways to get her attention. I made fun of everyone who got in my way and even bullied them. I even punched Eli's face until it bled because Emily was always talking to him. Eli was the smartest kid in the room, and his presence had always annoyed me. I can still remember my conversation with Emily that day. Hey Em, wanna play with me later at our house? I have all the toys and games that you want. We also have a pool, and I bet you'll like to swim with me, I invited her. I was so sure that she would gladly accept my invitation because I thought she liked cool guys like me, but the opposite happened instead. I can't believe you've done that to Eli. Stop talking to me from now on, Tony. I will never like a bully like you, ever. Her words echoed in my ears for several weeks. I just wanted to impress her, but it just made me so ashamed of myself. From then on, I started trying to be as non-threatening as possible, and I actually like the new version of myself now. My parents loved me even more whenever I got good grades. That's why I also started to have a new hobby, which was reading mystery books and studying. I also learned that Emily and I shared a lot of interests. So, to cut a long story short, she talked to me again and we became the best of friends. I started wearing glasses when I ruined my eyes because of too much reading and playing video games, and that's how I officially became a nerd to the eyes of those bullies. You're just acting like you're not affected, but deep inside, I know that you're crying in fear. Blaze continued to insult me, but I only remained calm. I had to. I gave Emily a signal to ignore them. I then continued getting my stuff from my locker as casually as I could, as if they were all invisible. We tried to walk past them, but they were blocking our way. Geez, I'm going to be late for the battle. Blaze's friend Chad suddenly took a huge artificial leaf from his bag and put it on my head. I tried to remove it, but apparently it was super glued to my hair. Oh no. Hey guys, Blaze called out everyone's attention. Meet our new classmate, a dirty, rotten apple, he exclaimed while pointing his fingers at me. Bullies like Blaze are really happy to make fun of others, and all I can do is sigh and suppress my rage. I turned to him and gave him an informative comeback instead to fill his seemingly empty brain of something. Speaking of apples, did you know there are over 7,500 types of apples out in the world? All of those types are low in calories and high in fibers and nutrients, aka good for you. He made a puking gesture before complaining. Shut up, nerd. I don't care about your stupid apple. You're a rotten one anyway. Rotten apples have a color combination of brown, red, and black. The paint that you use to bathe me in is delicious red. This color in apples is a product of anthocyanins, a class of heart disease-fighting polyphenols. In short, I'm the healthy and delicious kind of apple that you might need. I smiled. You're speaking nonsense. You're just wasting our time. Let's go, boys. Blaze and his friends finally left. You really are his favorite, Emily commented as we finally walked in peace. It's because he knows that I'm not afraid of him. I actually wanted it that way, so he'll focus on me and stop bothering the others at school. I can live with it anyway. Emily helped me clean up before the battle came, and luckily I was able to win it despite wearing my broken glasses. We then had lunch in the canteen. While eating our food, Emily and I caught Blaze extending his foot as a guy was about to pass by. As expected, the guy tripped and fell on the floor with his face on his tray of food. He's really hopeless, Emily said while shaking her head in disappointment. I know. Blaze reminded me of my old self, and I can really say that I wasn't proud of who I was before. So, prom's gonna be next week. What are your plans? Emily asked, and I didn't know what to reply. I wanted to ask her to be my date, but I don't have that confidence anymore. I was kinda traumatized about our past. What if she rejects me again? I didn't know what to do. Well, I think I paused when I noticed the taste of the apple that I was eating. It was rotten. I lifted my head up and met Blaze's mischievous eyes across the room. How did this jerk manage to change the fresh apple on my tray without me noticing earlier? I opened my locker that afternoon and noticed that some of the notes that I had written for Emily were missing. I'd been practicing it for my speech for her. I just inserted them in my notebook. Where are they? Suddenly, everyone stopped whatever they were doing when a familiar voice came booming from the school's intercom system. Excuse me, everyone. I found a lame love letter on the floor and I don't know who owns this. I'm just gonna read it out loud, and if it's yours, say, I'm a loser. I gulped in tension. Blaze couldn't get any worse, could he? Dear Emily, I don't know how to start this, but I want to tell you that I always thought that you are beautiful and wonderful as you are. I have always loved you since we were little, and nothing changed, to be honest. But I didn't have the guts to tell you this because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose the friendship that we have always treasured. Okay, so he scratched something here and wrote another paragraph. Blaze cleared his throat before he continued. Dear Emily, I don't have any girl in mind that I want to ask to prom. If you don't have any date yet, want to come with me? As a friend and nothing more. Trust me, we're just friends. Oh, please, Rotten Apple, this is downright lame. Stop dreaming, dude. Pretty girls will never be attracted to losers like you. Everyone was throwing me intrigued looks, and some were even laughing at me. I was so embarrassed right then I wanted to cry. I was dreading to see Emily's reaction on this. I ran to where Blaze was to stop him. He was laughing with his girlfriend and friends as they continued to make fun of me through the intercom. I can let you bully me all your life, but I'm warning you, don't you dare involve Emily in this, I sternly said. He stepped closer and loomed over me. You just made a bad decision by telling me that. Watch out, loser. He gave me a threatening smile, which made me worry. A few days passed and Emily had been ignoring me. She'd been hanging out with her other friends lately. I kinda expected it anyway. We started being awkward again. And I have never been lonely my whole life. I have to find a way to fix this. One night, Emily called and told me to meet her at the local pet shop. It seemed so urgent, so I put on my jacket and walked out of the house immediately. When I arrived at the pet shop, no one was there. I tried to call the number, but he or she wasn't picking up. Hours had passed and I was pissed off already, so I decided to go home instead. While I was walking on my way to our school building the next day, I heard some screams from inside. Some students came running out of the door with terrified looks on their faces. What is happening? I hurriedly ran inside and was horrified to see a lot of huge tarantulas crawling literally everywhere, from walls and lockers to the floor and ceilings. I walked towards Emily's locker to look for her, but I was shocked to see that it was open and was full of tarantulas. Apparently, her locker was the source of it. Blaze, what did you do this time? Our school building was in total chaos right now. Teachers and students evacuated the building for safety, while I kept on calling Emily. She wasn't answering. I caught up with her friend on campus and asked her about Emily, but she told me that Emily doesn't want to talk to me. The school was shut down the next day to clean up the mess of whoever brought all those tarantulas to school. The principal then called me to his office when the classes resumed, to my wonder. I don't know what has gotten into you, Tony. What do you mean, sir? He then showed me a video of myself entering the pet shop. Someone sent me this video. Apparently, you bought some dangerous spiders from that store and scattered them at school. Another student told me that he saw you in the campus holding a jar of spiders. We checked your locker and the jar was there. You have done serious damage to the school, as some students had minor injuries caused by panic and fear, he explained. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I mean, you lack evidence. I went to the pet store last night because someone... I paused when I realized that Blaze actually set me up, so it wasn't Emily who called. He's going to pay for this. This is grounds for expulsion, Tony. But given your track record, I will be putting you on a detention today, and then you're suspended for a week. I wanted to clear my name, but Blaze made it look like I really did it. When I walked down the hallway, all the students were looking at me as if I was a serial killer. Why is life unfair sometimes? The bad guy will do a lot of bad things, and everyone's fine with it because they're used to it. But when the good guy does a bad thing, people will make him feel like he's the worst person on earth. I need to teach Blaze a lesson that he will never forget, and that will take place on his big day at the prom next week. I caught him talking to his friends, how he's gonna be the prom king, how important it was for him. I contacted my old friends and gathered them up for a secret meeting. No one should know about this, especially Emily, or else I'm going to lose our friendship forever. But I also couldn't fall to his level. This would need some thought. I didn't have to hurt him, just take away what he valued. Prom night came and everyone was having a good time, except me. I was sulking in one corner while I watched Emily dance with another guy. I was also overseeing my plan for tonight, making sure that everything would work just the way that it should. It was all about the timing. Blaze was having the time of his life with his new girlfriend and his friends on the dance floor with drinks in their hands. Excitement rushed through me as that smirk faded on his face and he started to become uneasy and bothered. He walked his way to the toilet, but my old friend Mark blocked his way and asked him about something to distract him, while my other friends kept all the cubicles in the toilet occupied. After just a few seconds, the announcement of prom king and queen finally came, and, as expected, Blaze and his current girlfriend got the titles. I enjoyed watching him walk up the stage in an awkward way with a paler face and cold sweats pooping out of his forehead. I held my breath when Blaze's face twisted with urgency. I felt that he couldn't take it anymore. I felt the tension down there in the audience. He was about to run to the toilet again, but the moment the announcer put the crown on his head, something exploded in his pants. The air was filled with an overwhelming stench, and everyone crunched their noses with disgust. The girls at school, including Blaze's ex-girlfriends, looked so disgusted at him. Everyone started shouting "boo" at Blaze, including his so-called friends, to his surprise. Such a shame for our school to have a king who poops in his pants, which, by the way, smells as bad as his personality, a guy exclaimed. Everyone then laughed. The best sound I've ever heard. "You ruined our lives, Blaze. You're nothing but a bully who deserves that. You suck, Blaze." A poop, pooping a poop. The irony. They were making him feel how much of a terrible person he was. Blaze got so angry from the humiliation that he stormed out of the building. I just stood there with a smug look on my face while my plan unfolded right before my eyes. I turned to Emily, and to my surprise, she was looking at me too, with one eyebrow raised. Oh no, she looked like she knew. I got so nervous as she approached me. "Hi," she greeted me first. "Hi," I greeted back. My heartbeat was racing right then. "Wanna dance?" Did she just ask me to dance? Sure, I stuttered. Then she removed my glasses and stared at me with tenderness in her eyes. "You look cute without these." My heart sank at her compliment. Blaze deserved that, by the way. I knew that he was the one who brought those spiders. I heard him talking with his friends. "I'm sorry if I doubted you, Tony. I knew you didn't do it, but I was confused when Blaze read your love letter." "It's okay, I understand. But promise me that you won't do this again," she said with a knowing look on her face. "I didn't do this. My old friends did it." I tried to deny it, but what's the use? "I promise," I sincerely said. I really thought that it was the perfect moment, so I kissed her. And to my delight, she kissed me back. And that prom night was literally the best night of my life. Days later, the huge company where Blaze's dad worked was closed because of bankruptcy, and their house caught on fire, which I had nothing to do with. Good thing everyone was safe. They relocated to another state after graduation, and I never heard about the bully ever again. I got accepted into a prestigious college the next year, and fast forward to a couple of more years, I got the job that I really wanted. I was driving my way to work to interview some applicants for my company when I noticed a familiar man signaling at the side of the road, probably asking for a ride. I stopped the car and took a closer look at him. "Blaze, it's good to see you again." I was pretty sure it was him. "How do you know me?" He narrowed his eyes as he tried to familiarize me. "Wait, Tony? The rotten apple loser?" "Yep, that's me." "Wow, I barely recognized you. Look at you now." "How are you doing, Blaze?" He looked so thin, unhealthy, and no longer had that appeal that he had when we were in high school. We just gazed into each other's eyes as I remembered what happened to him. "Well, I learned things the hard way, but I'm fine now," he meaningfully said, then continued. "Anyway, it's too embarrassing to ask this, but I don't have any choice, as I'm running late for a job interview today. Do you mind giving me a ride? I lost my wallet and I can't hail a taxi. Of course, Blaze, I simply said with a smile.